Sometimes, when it comes to the draft, some selections just don't work out and feel like a real wasted opportunity. Some teams just have to carry that shame, while others often find a way to redeem themselves sooner rather than later. For any NFL team, there are few better feelings than totally redeeming yourself after making a brutal mistake. In recent years, several NFL clubs swung and missed on a highly anticipated draft selection, only to make it up a few short years later. Here are 15 examples where a team totally messed up on a draft pick, only to make up for that mistake a few years later. Cleveland Browns, Johnny Manziel to Baker Mayfield. Nobody needs to be reminded about the Browns' inability to find a franchise quarterback for 20 years. But nobody was a greater disappointment than Johnny Manziel. The 2012 Heisman Trophy winner was drafted 22nd overall by the Browns in 2014. But Manziel was unable to make a smooth transition to the NFL, and his off-the-field behavior quickly rubbed the Browns the wrong way. He was released in 2016 after making just 8 starts in 2 seasons. It would be 4 more painful years until the Browns finally redeemed themselves. But they hit the jackpot by taking Oklahoma QB Baker Mayfield first overall in 2018. After an impressive rookie year, Mayfield suffered the sophomore slump in 2019, but he rebounded in 2020 and helped the Browns to their first playoff berth since 2002 and to their first postseason victory since 1994. Buffalo Bills, E.J. Manuel to Josh Allen. There were 0 standout quarterbacks in the 2013 draft class, but the Bills were desperate for someone, so they took a chance on Florida State product E.J. Manuel with the number 16 selection. And well, lasted just 4 seasons with the Bills, and he was a backup in 3 of them. He lost 11 of 17 starts and had just 19 touchdowns against 15 interceptions. 5 years later, the Bills took another swing at a quarterback early. They traded up to take Josh Allen, 7th overall in 2018, and the rest is history. After a sluggish rookie year, Allen made tremendous progress in 2019 and guided Buffalo to just its 2nd playoff berth of the century. A year later, he had an MVP caliber season and led the Bills to 13 wins and an AFC Championship appearance. It took some time and some wasted picks, but the Bills have finally found their man. San Francisco 49ers, Solomon Thomas to Nick Bosa. After trading down 1 spot with the Chicago Bears, the 49ers took Stanford defensive end Solomon Thomas with the number 3 pick in 2017. And boy, did this ever flop. Thomas never found his game in San Fran. Not even Robert Saleh could get him going. Thomas only mustered 6 total sacks in 4 years with the 49ers. But not to worry, his legacy as a bust in San Fran has already been forgotten about. That's because the 49ers hit a home run when they took another defensive end, Nick Bosa, with the 2nd overall selection in 2019. The Ohio State product won Defensive Rookie of the Year honors after tallying 9 sacks and 25 quarterback hits, leading the 49ers to a Super Bowl 54 berth. Seattle Seahawks, Aaron Curry to Bobby Wagner. Entering the 2009 draft, the Seahawks knew that their defensive unit had a lengthy rebuild ahead of them. Looking for a new lead star to build around, they took Wake Forest linebacker Aaron Curry with the number 4 selection. But for whatever reason, it just didn't work out for Curry in the NFL. In 2 seasons and a bit with Seattle, he totaled just 5.5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, and 134 tackles. He was out of the NFL after the 2012 season following a brief stint with the Oakland Raiders. But the Seahawks sure made up for the Curry selection 3 years later, when they took Utah State linebacker Bobby Wagner in the 2nd round with the 47th overall selection. Wagner has only been the NFL's best linebacker of the past decade, with 7 Pro Bowls and 6 first-team All-Pro selections on his resume. Not to mention that he led the Seahawks to a Super Bowl 48 championship, their first in franchise history. San Francisco 49ers, Reuben Foster to Fred Warner. After drafting Solomon Thomas, the 49ers continued to address their front seven by taking Alabama linebacker Reuben Foster with the number 31 selection in 2017. Foster showed promise in year one and earned a selection to the PFWA All-Rookie team. However, he was handed a 2-game suspension in 2018 for violating the league's conduct and substance abuse policies. In the middle of the season, he was released following an arrest for domestic violence. The 49ers may not have known it at the time, but the good news was that their linebacker of the future was already on the roster. That would be Fred Warner, whom San Fran took with the 70th pick in 2018. Warner emerged as the key cog in San Fran's defense during the 2020 season. He's arguably the best linebacker in the game right now. Reuben Foster, who? Cleveland Browns, Justin Gilbert to Denzel Ward. Johnny Manziel wasn't the Browns' only first-round draft mistake in 2014, and Baker Mayfield wasn't their only home run first-round pick in 2018. In 2014, before they took Manziel, the Browns selected highly touted Oklahoma State corner Justin Gilbert with the number 8 selection. But Gilbert never found his game in the NFL, lasting just 2 seasons with the Browns before getting traded to the Steelers. He was out of the NFL after 3 years. But it's okay. The Browns found themselves a stud cornerback in Denzel Ward with the number 4 pick in 2018. 3 picks after, they selected Mayfield. Ward earned a Pro Bowl selection in his rookie year and has become a key cog in the Browns secondary. New York Jets, Calvin Pryor to Jamal Adams. The New York Jets drafted the Louisville safety with the number 18 selection in 2014. Pryor showed some promise in his rookie season and looked to be a future star for the Jets, but he never took that next step, and Pryor quickly became a liability in the secondary. This prompted the Jets to take LSU safety Jamal Adams with the number 6 selection in 2017. In 3 seasons with the Jets, Adams emerged as one of the game's elite young stars. He earned both first and second team All-Pro honors and a pair of Pro Bowl selections. Adams was eventually dealt to the Seahawks after requesting a trade before the start of the 2020 season, but at least he landed the Jets some much-needed draft capital on his way out. Pittsburgh Steelers, Jarvis Jones to TJ Watt. Looking to address an aging defense that needed some speed and youth, the Steelers took Georgia linebacker Jarvis Jones with the number 17 selection in the 2013 draft. But even the great Steelers organization couldn't get much out of Jones. He lasted just 4 seasons in the NFL. The Steelers opted not to bring back Jones in 2017. Good call, because they found a great replacement in TJ Watt, the number 30 selection in that year's draft. Watt isn't just the younger brother of future Hall of Famer JJ. He has quickly grown into one of the NFL's elite pass rushers, racking up a whopping 49.5 sacks over his first 4 seasons. He led the NFL with 15 sacks in 2020, finishing second in Defensive Player of the Year voting behind only Aaron Donald. Denver Broncos, Shane Ray to Bradley Chubb. Shane Ray looked tailor-made for Wade Phillips' blitz-happy defense. Many thought the Broncos got themselves a late first-round steal when they took the Missouri defensive end 23rd overall in 2015. Ray showed promise with 4 sacks in his rookie year as the Broncos went on to win Super Bowl 50. He followed it up with 8 sacks in his sophomore year, but that turned out to be Ray's peak. He totaled only 2 sacks over the next 2 years and was out of the NFL soon after. The Broncos would eventually find themselves the next great pass rusher to complement Von Miller. That would be Bradley Chubb, whom the Broncos selected with the number 5 pick in 2018. Through his first 3 seasons, Chubb had 20.5 sacks in 34 games. As Miller enters the twilight years of his career, the Broncos at least know they have their next great pass rusher to build the unit around. Las Vegas Raiders, Rolando McClain to Khalil Mack. The Raiders wasted a plethora of early draft selection in the 2000s and early 2010s. Few guys were bigger busts than Alabama linebacker Rolando McClain, the number 8 pick of the 2010 draft. McClain lasted just 3 seasons with the Raiders. The Raiders released McClain in 2013. 1 year later, the Raiders found the franchise linebacker that they wanted McClain to be. That was Khalil Mack, the number 5 pick in the 2014 draft. Mack won the 2016 Defensive Player of the Year award after helping the Raiders end a 14-year playoff drought. Unfortunately, the honeymoon didn't last long. Mack was traded to the Chicago Bears in 2018 for a bundle of picks following a contract dispute. Carolina Panthers, Kelvin Benjamin to DJ Moore. Well, for 1 year, it looked like the Panthers struck gold when they took Benjamin 28th overall in 2014. The 6'5" wideout caught 73 passes for 1,008 yards and 9 touchdowns in his rookie year. But he unfortunately missed all of 2015 after suffering a torn ACL. Benjamin did bounce back nicely in 2016, but he regressed in 2017 and was sent to the Buffalo Bills ahead of the trade deadline. The Panthers didn't need long to find a new #1 receiver though. They drafted DJ Moore 24th in 2018. And it didn't take long for him to emerge as one of the league's top young wideouts, as he recorded back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons in 2019 and 2020. Washington football team, Josh Doctson to Terry McLaurin. This, folks, was a miss and a half by the football team. Washington took Doctson 22nd overall in 2016, looking to improve an already stellar receiving group that had Pierre Garçon, Deshaun Jackson, and Jamison Crowder. But Doctson was never able to find his game in DC in 3 seasons. He was released ahead of the 2019 campaign. Terry McLaurin, the number 76 pick of 2019, would help Washington forget about the Doctson mistake in short time. Through his first 2 seasons, McLaurin racked up 145 catches for 2,037 receiving yards and 11 touchdowns. He also helped Washington win the NFC East Division title in 2020, their first division title in 5 years. Houston Texans, Tom Savage to Deshaun Watson. Okay, so Savage wasn't the most highly touted quarterback prospect. The Houston Texans didn't take him until the 4th round, 135th overall in 2014, after all. But still, you know, Savage didn't exactly do much to help the Texans' long-term search for a franchise quarterback. And the subsequent additions of Brian Hoyer and Brock Osweiler only set this team back further and further. Finally, the Texans got their man when they traded up with the Cleveland Browns to take Clemson QB Deshaun Watson 12th overall in 2017. He earned Pro Bowl selections in 3 of his first 4 years and led Houston to AFC South Division titles in 2018 and 2019. He's widely viewed as a top 5 quarterback in the game today. Minnesota Vikings, Laquan Treadwell to Justin Jefferson. The Vikings drafted the Mississippi wideout with the number 23 selection in 2016. All that bought them was 701 yards and 2 touchdowns over 4 seasons. Yikes. 4 years later, however, the Vikings made up for it by landing a future superstar in Justin Jefferson. They took the LSU product with the number 22 selection, and Jefferson repaid them by piecing together the greatest rookie wideout season ever. He racked up 88 receptions for a rookie record 1,400 yards and 7 touchdowns. Jefferson earned a Pro Bowl nod, and he finished only behind Justin Herbert in Rookie of the Year voting. Arizona Cardinals, Josh Rosen to Kyler Murray. The QB-needy Cardinals moved up in the draft to take Rosen 10th overall in 2018, notably passing on future MVP Lamar Jackson. But Rosen never got much of a chance to shine in Arizona.
There were 9 mistakes made ahead of me, and I will make sure over the next decade or so that they will know that they made a mistake.
Rosen went 3-10 as Arizona's starter. After the Cardinals hired Cliff Kingsbury as their next head coach, they decided to draft Heisman Trophy winner Kyler Murray with the top selection in 2019. That meant cutting the losses with Rosen, whom they sent to the Miami Dolphins for a couple of draft picks. Murray cruised to the Offensive Rookie of the Year honors in 2019 and had a strong sophomore campaign, nearly leading Arizona to its first playoff berth in 5 years. It's unorthodox, obviously, to draft a quarterback in the top 10 in consecutive drafts, but it sure worked out for Arizona.
I'm absolutely the best quarterback in the draft, by far. I want to win Super Bowls, and I want to have the most, so I'm coming for Tom Brady's record.
But what other NFL teams corrected a botched draft selection in short time? Join us in the comments section below. If you like this video and learn a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton, and hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.